All right, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about why pickup artists need to be stopped, why they are a plague, a menace. Let me bring this closer. A menace to society, and they need to be deplatformed. Every last single one of them. We're actually going to be reacting to a video by someone called Chad, explaining why pickup dating coaches are cringe or whatever. But I want to start off by mentioning another little challenge I'm going to be doing during this live stream because you may have noticed I often repeat my sentences when maybe I mess up a word. I say something in a way that I don't like the way it sounded. Oh, so what she was saying, damn it. Oh, so what she was saying, what she was saying. I say it several times until I get it exactly right. Why do I do that? That is a habit that I got from doing my videos not live in the past. I did not do my videos live. And because I didn't do them live, whenever you don't like how something sounds, you can repeat it. And that became a habit. Just starting my sentences over became a habit. And so to break that habit, that really bad habit, what I'm going to be doing is anytime I do that, anytime I start a sentence over or start re-saying a word unnecessarily, I'm going to do 5 squats. I'm going to do 5 squats on the stream. I don't know if I can really film them, but that's just to break that bad habit because my goal is I want to get out 3 of these per day. And if I have to edit out a bunch of ums and ahs, and if I'm doing that, it makes the video more stressful because I don't get into a flow because I'm like self-censoring, right? I'm self-monitoring. Oh, that wasn't good enough. And then the videos aren't as good that way. So what I'm going to do is anytime I make that little mistake, a lot of comments coming in, I'll read them in a second. As soon as I make that type of mistake, what I'm going to do is do squats to just break that connection in my mind that whenever I don't like how I say something, I get to restate it because that's like I've been doing for years. I've been doing YouTube videos without having a live stream. And that means that's just a deep habit that I got to unroot, basically. Uh, what is he curious about with my wheat waffles challenge? Good vocal exercises. I can say briefly. One is there's an app called Vocular you can use, and the app Vocular, what it lets you do is it compares. You record into it, you talk for a few minutes, and what it does is it says how deep is your voice compared to other people, and you can replay it and hear it. And your goal is just speak to that app in as deep and powerful a voice as possible. Do your best. There's no specific technique necessarily. Obviously, try to speak from your stomach, not from your neck. Pay attention to that. And the way you can check that is when you breathe in and you're speaking, does your stomach move? Is it coming in and out or does it not? And if it doesn't, then you're speaking from your throat, right? If your shoulders are moving, that means you're not speaking from your diaphragm. But anyway, other than that, focusing on that, what you do is speak as deep as you can, and you just do this every day for a couple minutes. And then it will become a habit to speak in a deeper, more powerful voice. And when I started using that, I was in baritone. And now when I do it, I'm in deep bass according to the app, right? So it's made a significant shift. And my voice can still be deeper. I'm not saying it's as deep as it could be, but it's made a significant amount of difference. So that's one thing you can do. I think everyone should Looks Max just because it's really not that hard to do. I'm not in the best shape right now. The reason I'm not in the best shape is really bad, stupid habits. It's not hard to be in good shape. You just have to not do things that are very easy to avoid doing. Right? You just have to pay a little attention, right? Track your calories, weigh yourself every morning, and go out. Yeah, look, if this guy I he can send me some infield, right? Send me at least audio and we can go over it. I guarantee he does not have the best game in the world. Anyone who thinks that is usually an idiot. I mean, not in general, but in terms of their self awareness of game. They're not an idiot as a person, but their self awareness is bad. Uh, is the Asian friend, does he do well with white girl? I saw him pull a white girl the other day. So I would say yes. I even asked specifically. I don't know why every Asian guy, not every Asian guy, but so many Asian guys, like, I need white girls. Why are white girls superior in your mind? Like, what is so special about them? There are many. I've been with many. I've been with girls of every major ethnicity, right? And there's nothing about white girls that is superior to Latina, Asian, Black, whatever. Like, there's some that are hot of any race, and there's some that are not, and some that are classy and smart, and some that are not. This obsession with white is very weird. It's something cultural, I know, but it's kind of silly in my opinion. Yes, I'm sure he has narcissism. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do is react to, yeah, they're top of the social hierarchy, but that is kind of an illusion and arbitrary. Like, that doesn't mean they're more fun to be around or more physically attractive. It just means there's this societal norm, and that societal norm does not track to the actual experience of being with them. So why care about that, right? Someone else will be impressed. Oh, you got a white girl. So you could also get an Instagram model and hate them because they're toxic as fuck. But you're like, well, I get to tell my friends that I got an Instagram model. So therefore, there are cool white girls, of course, but there's cool Latina girl, cool every type of girl. So that's just a weird thing that I've noticed. A lot of Asian guys are really obsessed with that. And they don't know what they're missing out on. It's not as special as they seem to think it is. But anyway, the first video we're going to be reacting to is TikTok dating coaches need to be stopped. Let's find out why TikTok dating coaches need to be stopped. Pickup artists need to be stopped. They are a plague on society. And there's a glorious feminist warrior known as Chad that is going to help show you the light and learn to stop picking up women, you vile piece of shit. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, and welcome back to My name is Chad, and one of the hardest things about being a Chad is that literally everyone wants to date me. You want to date me, your mom wants to date me, I want to date me, but that's too bad because you're dating.
This video is already showing how important it is to have good editing, because all the entertainment value from this has not been what she said. It has been the little rain effect and all the movement and all the little things that help you pay attention, because you have such a short attention span thanks to TikTok addiction. So if there's anything you can take from this video already, it's how important it is to constantly do little video edits, because she is not funny so far.
Skills are only here, and I'm a high-level Chad all the way up here. It's okay, though, because I found a dude that can help you.
I'd say she's a solid 6 out of 10 in terms of looks, which by feminist YouTube standards, I almost said it again. That means I got to do my squats. All right. I can't really, you'll just have to hear me go, ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully that doesn't happen too many times. I might get into good shape. But yeah, if you don't know, anytime I restate something, I have to do 5 squats, because I have a bad habit of doing that I got from doing my videos not as lives, but just talking to the camera, which lets you pause whenever you mess up something you say and retry it. So I'm trying to break that habit and just power through, even if I make a little mistake. So where were we? I'm not going to count that because I wasn't started yet. By feminist standards, she is pretty attractive. I'd say by feminist YouTube God damn it, that counts. Fuck. Nothing else. You'll get entertainment value out of this, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just this bad habit. I want to be able to do more live streams and to make the editing easier so I can add all these special effects like she has done. Chad here. By feminist YouTube standards, I would... God damn it. Oh my God. I don't even think the video was working, was it?
Hey guys.
Can he see your Asian friend slay in action? Yeah, I'm sure he can. He can see my Asian friend in action. No problem with that. I forgot to share screen. Guys, if I don't do that, make sure you remind me, because, you know, I'm a fucking boomer. 5 more squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god. I'm definitely unlisting this the second it goes live after that. All right, sorry about that, guys.
Hey guys, and welcome back to My name is Chat Chat. And one of the hardest things about being a Chad is that literally everyone wants to date me. You want to date me, your mom wants to date me, I want to date me. But that's too bad because your dating skills are only here, and I'm a high-level Chad all the way up here. It's okay though, because
I'd say she's a solid 6, which by feminist YouTube standards is pretty good. Might be the best I've seen, so yay.
I found a dude that can help you. And he has a TikTok account and a podcast. And if you don't know what that means, it means everything he says is true.
What does it mean if a girl has no hookups in
How is that relevant to the argument?
her Tinder bio? And the answer is it means absolutely jack.
It's been a while since we watched this kind of content, so it's really important that we remember the Alpha Dating Coach motto, which
I have had multiple occasions in real life when a woman said, "We're not going to have sex," and then within an hour, she's asking me to have sex with her, or she's disappointed. I had one girl get upset when I said, "Well, you said we don't want to have sex. We're not having sex." And she got upset. So sometimes what women say at one point and how they behave in a later point, how they think in a different point, is very different. So a girl saying no hookups on Tinder doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't have one-night stands on Tinder. That is often not the case.
is don't listen to women and what they say they want. They don't know what they're talking about.
True. She's actually said something correct. So that's surprising.
Listen to men who are not in committed relationships and have more empty alcohol bottles than a Delta Chi house.
He actually is in a committed relationship, as far as I know. It's an open relationship, but he's in a long-term relationship. And why does she assume that men would only want information about how to get into a committed relationship? A lot of men just want to get laid, have a good time. A lot of women too. Why is that the only thing that matters? It's just dumb.
Dad, you almost finished your glass of wine.
I am, yes.
You'll have another one.
Okay.
I know the perfect.
Okay, let's go. How do you script an interaction and it still be awkward?
That's why it's awkward, because if you have to script something while being filmed, it's going to feel a little weird. It's not organic. It's not natural. Come on.
It's a good idea in general not to lunge at women. I couldn't tell if he was going in for a whisper or to perform one of those assassin neck crunch things.
I know the perfect.
Okay, let's go. I don't get why they didn't just do another take where they're not interrupting each other. This doesn't really exude confidence. So looks like you're almost done with that wine. Oh yeah, I was just about to finish. I know where you can get more wine. Sorry, what? I said I can. I'm really sorry. The music is it's really loud. Do you want to go back to my?
This video shows how powerful video editing is, because she hasn't said a single thing that is genuinely funny or witty, and none of her points make any actual sense. But it has good editing, and the good editing makes it engaging. It makes it entertaining. That is the secret to wild YouTube success. That is how you go viral, not by saying good points, not by making sense, not with logic.
Yes, sure. I mean, I still can. And that is how you get laid. Is he talking to us? What did he say? What's that guy? I said that. I also hate these seats. Just look.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Look at how weird these seats are. So weird. The only seat I like is SeatGeek. This video is sponsored by SeatGeek. If you haven't looked, do this.
Wow, what a flawless transition there.
to download the app. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today, and let's get back to the video.
Oh, excuse me.
Hi.
I saw you walking. I thought you were really cute. I want to meet you real quick. Alex, pleasure.
Or you could do option 4, where you don't approach women who are walking alone in empty hallways. Wait, what's this?
Okay, so the fact that it's alone in an empty hallway does make it a little weird. That is not the ideal place for a cold approach. So she's not wrong that that's a bit of an odd place to do it. But in general, the advice he's giving is good. The way you don't approach a girl is from behind, freak her out, and then she's like, what the fuck is going on? And she gets defensive. That is a common mistake that I see all the time when I'm coaching people in person that causes women to reject them. It creates a lose-lose situation because the girl's uncomfortable. What the hell happened? And then the guy is getting rejected and feels like maybe I'm just not good looking enough. So teaching guys to give her space, to get in front of her, to not freak her out, which sounds obvious, but it's something that we're not taught. So when you learn how to do that, your approaches are going to be more comfortable for the girl and they're going to be more successful for the guy. So it's better for everyone. You could say men shouldn't approach women at all. I guess you could make that argument, but I've met many girls that I've dated, that I've slept with, that I've even had relationships with via approaching. So I think that argument would be kind of silly.
It's 2 a.m. and the hallway is completely empty and there are no people or cameras and it's very scary. Allow me to introduce
I
myself.
saw you walking. I thought you were really cute. I want to meet you real quick.
Why would your opening line be, I saw you walking? Like, I'm sure you probably did, because that's literally what she's doing. Is the tip to just make a general observation?
He's just getting her attention so that when he's, God damn it, I got to do this once again. God damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God damn it. Well, I needed a leg workout because they're already getting sore. So, he's just getting her attention so that she has a moment to process what's happening. So by saying an initial line like, hey, I saw you walking, that lets her realize, oh, this guy's trying to talk to me, start paying attention to him. And then when he says, I thought you were cute and I had to say hello, she's had time to get comfortable with what's happening. Whereas if you go, hey, I thought you were cute, I had to say hi, that can be rushed and it can be more awkward.
Observation about what they're doing and then use that as the pickup line?
Yeah.
Because it sounds accusing almost. Hey, excuse me, I just saw you were walking and don't fucking do.
How does that sound accusing? The only one accusing is you.
This has got to be one of the funniest and most creative bios I've seen in a while. Females, I'm looking for a woman who will make me, and that's M, make me dinner, A, appreciate the things I do for you, K, kiss me, E, eager to ask about day, M, marry me, E, endlessly love me, C, capture my heart, U, make death do us part, M, make me.
Don't do this. If the word is anywhere on your profile, you should be banned from dating apps for life. And why do all of these requirements end with me? I know it's online dating, but aren't you supposed to give a preview of yourself and what you're like rather than how you want women to serve you? I mean, I guess in this instance it works because the preview is that you spent hours making an acronym about it.
This is a pretty perfect bio.
So instead of assuming that it's bad because you don't like it based on your personal ideology, why didn't you look at the actual information? How many matches does that profile get? How successful is that guy on Tinder? If he's unsuccessful, then clearly women don't like it. If he is, they do. But you don't know that information. You're just assuming. That's not what smart people do.
This is a perfect bio. How could we miss this, guys? The secret to getting ladies is talking about our date. It was right under our noses all this time. This is a dating and self-improvement channel, by the way. I have this really bad habit that I would like to get rid of. I see. Okay, what is it? Yeah, so I just can't stop talking about my date. Have you tried talking about your date more? You're a genius. What can I say? You've come to the right place.
How to playfully ask a girl that you're talking to from a
This really is a twinge of cringe.
dating app if she's actually overweight. So this is a text that's pretty funny. Talking to this chick, making logistics. Awesome. All your pics are headshots. You aren't a secret fatty, are you?
Hold on, let me retitle this for you. How to be a fat-phobic pole
Playfully?
playfully.
That may sound a little crude.
So it's fat phobic to not be attracted to people who are overweight. Good to know. It's good to know that having preferences makes you phobic. Is it also height phobic to not like short men? Would you treat them equally? Would you treat all the women who say be X height or more? Are they height phobic? Oh, no? No, it only goes one way? Oh, interesting. So you're not really saying anything useful. Good to know.
But it's also fairly amusing. Generally speaking, you get reactions. Oh, geez, now that's a question.
Oh, geez, now that's a question. So you wrote this. There's no way that you aren't chatting with yourself right now. I swear he just has 2 accounts where he can make these example conversations go down exactly how he wants in totally unrealistic ways. Because there's no way that this interaction ended with him getting her number.
Sound a little crude.
So when something happens that goes against your personal biases, just assume it's fake. That's the only explanation. It must be fake. Yeah, smart.
But it's also fairly amusing. Generally speaking, you get reactions.
Of course you will, because you're texting yourself.
What to do if a girl doesn't drink? So my general go-to is to invite a girl straight to my place for a bottle of wine or to meet her at a bar nearby. And again, I'm not a big fan of drinking either.
He's not a big fan of drinking.
I'm not a big fan of drinking either. So in that situation, my approach is simple. I just say, okay, cool. Why don't we go for a walk first, and then afterwards you can come up for some tea, or you can just invite her straight for tea or coffee anyway. So it's basically the same thing, but you replace alcohol with something that she can have, like tea or coffee.
Guys, if she doesn't drink
That's good advice.
alcohol, you should just give her something else to drink. Maybe. I don't know. Subscribe for more tips on how to do obvious things. So what should you do if you go on a date with a chick and she doesn't like chicken tenders? Now, I'm not a huge fan of chicken tenders myself. So what I usually do is offer her some steak. You could do grilled chicken, filet, I think is a meat, salmon, ground beef, turkey. So how long is this seminar? 2 hours.
Hey, so what do you do for work?
I work in finance.
Oh, do you like it?
Okay, you guys.
Have you been doing it for a while?
Yeah.
Oh, is it hard to get a job in finance?
I mean, not really.
Do you think I could do it?
Maybe they like finance.
No, not really.
I like how the bad example is him showing interest in her career. Don't ask questions. Questions make you look weak.
I work for finance.
Oh, cool. So you're like one of those badass Wall Street guys?
You can say that, yes.
Oh, cool. I'm a male stripper. So it's very similar to your job. You know, you take money off people, I take clothes off people.
You don't want her to think you actually give a shit about her interests. Do this instead. Are you Leonardo DiCaprio? I guess you could say that. Well, I'm a male stripper.
Teach men how to get laid on TikTok.
Do you really? Are you?
Why would I?
He moves so fast and it's too jarring. He also cups her ear, squeezes her ear as part of his seduction. It's like he stuck his hand out there without thinking about it first. Or why did I do this? Do I brush her hair? I could touch her cheek or I
Is it beta to show your emotions around women? So the red pillars say absolutely not. It's super beta, never show emotion. And, a lot of the feminists or blue pillars say, oh, women love a guy who's super sensitive. So, of course.
So, fellas, alphas say that it's beta to show emotions in front of women, but women say that women don't mind it, and they actually prefer men who can regulate their emotions. Who do we believe?
I think, again, the truth here is somewhere in the...
Look at not what they say, but what they do. How often do the most attractive women date guys that are super emotional, reactive, and not in control of how they carry themselves? How often? That's what you want to look at. Not what people say. Look at what they do.
The middle. You don't want to be the guy that's very emotional, that's always reacting to everything, that's kind of crying, or just comes off as anything resembling a little...
Or we could stop acting like emotions are gendered and accept that some people are more emotional than others. Oh my God, Tyler, what's wrong? My mom just died in a house fire. No. I mean, why are you having a pink emotion right now? What? Crying is a...
Maybe women are generally more emotional because in terms of biology, in terms of evolution, our brains have not changed much in hundreds of thousands of years. And in ancient times, men had to be able to control their emotions to hunt. It was the only way they could be successful. And women needed to be more emotional. They needed to be more compassionate and empathetic to be able to raise children effectively, to be able to connect with others, to be able to socialize in the way that God damn it. 5 more squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was trying to sound like Vegeta, but I don't think that was a good impression. Anyway, forgot what I was saying. Whereas women were more social and they had to God damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fucking fuck. Okay. Maybe it's because women had to be more social. They had to bond with others. They had to raise children and be able to connect and show empathy. Maybe that's why. Crazy theory.
Pink girly emotion, and you're a guy, so you're only allowed to have blue boy ones, like unbridled rage. Is that a Molotov cocktail in your hand? No? You killed my mom. See, there you go.
I'm like, how about later tonight around 11? We could just hang out and drink wine. I don't mean you people after 8 p.m., baby. I'm like, whoa, why is that? Too dark. I'm like, you realize they have lights, right?
She doesn't mean there aren't fucking lights. She means going on dates with men that you don't know is scary and you have to meet in a public, well-lit, open space for your own safety. You're just imagining a woman who doesn't know what lights are? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no, silly. I'm a light. Oh.
The funny thing is she's making fun of him for doing the same thing that she's been doing the whole time, using absurd examples to make things funny as opposed to making a logical point. So he did that once, and she's going back to doing the same thing to prove he's stupid. Ironic.
And Jesus Christ.
Talking to this girl, I'm like, what evenings are you free? She's like, this whole week coming up, I have job interviews, so probably the week after. I'm just really desperate with finding a job. Oh, good. Actually, according to a recent study, they found that
The dirty and squirty.
increased the prospect chance of getting a job by 69%.
Yeah, I've just been really struggling to find a job so I can like support myself, and it's been a really rough time. Yeah, anyway, do you want to bang?
She's like, maybe we should have some. So you can see this.
I don't know if she knows this, but there's something called flirting. There's something called banter. Socialization doesn't have to be completely logical. It can be fun.
Text is pretty effective.
It's not a Pokemon
God damn it.
battle. This is a serious conversation between you and yourself. In this one, he's actually rating another guy's Tinder profile, so I'm sure he'll give him some good tips on how to be more appealing, but in a way that wouldn't be damaging to his self-esteem.
This guy's going to get a grand total of 0 matches. So this is the profile you don't want to have. And yeah, way too nice guy. This guy needs to grow out some facial hair, put on some muscle, take off the glasses, take off the hat, get better style, and stop smiling so damn much in every photo.
Oh, okay. So he just has to change everything about himself. Your hair just needs to stop being like that, and your eyes are also weird, and that dog is ugly. Get rid.
See, as a woman, as a slightly above average woman, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a different gender identity, to be honest, but I'm just assuming because I don't have anything to go based on. As a potential woman, when you download Tinder and even if you are actually super fat, super unattractive, yeah, and yes, I think being fat is less attractive. Even if you have all of those qualities, you're still going to get hundreds of matches. You're still going to get tons of messages. So your perspective is skewed because from your feminist ideology, you don't see that men struggle to be even seen, to be recognized by women, that many of them get no matches, no likes whatsoever, and they feel completely invisible and lost. Women have their own problems, but so do men. And that's my problem with feminism, is that it ignores there are many, many problems that are exclusive to men and that are very serious, that are, for example, homelessness, mostly men. For example, the draft, right? Men had to sacrifice their lives just for being men, were considered disposable. A third one, suicide rates. There's many things like that. And one of them, women have the risk of things like being harassed. Men have the risk of being invisible, of not being noticed by anyone, of not getting any dates, of not being able to get intimate companionship at all. And that's something many men struggle with, and feminists completely ignore this.
Rid of it.
Put on some muscle, take off the glasses, take off the hat,
He can't just get rid of his glasses. Like, people don't just wear those for no reason.
and stop
You can take pictures without glasses. Come on.
smiling so damn much in every photo.
Also, imagine thinking that smiling in pictures is going to get you less dates. And I also have a dog. His name is Charlie. Here he is. Aw, I hate dogs. Why are you wearing glasses? Oh, to help me see? They're hideous. Throw them in the trash. Excuse me? You look fucking weird. Okay.
He's basing that information on tests that he's run. He's run many experiments with different types of pictures, different types of profiles to see which one got more matches. So he's not just basing that off his emotional preconceived notions. He's basing it off actual data.
I'm leaving. It's because I smile too much, isn't it?
The power of persistence. So nowadays, girls have a lot of options. So what you want to do is you want to be persistent without being needy. Say, cute, I almost don't want to ruin you. No response. Cute, I almost don't want to ruin you. Once again, no response. Okay, fine, ruin each other. No response. And a few days, a week later.
So if someone, not just women, anyone, does not respond to 4 text messages over the span of several weeks, they definitely want you. They are so into you. You should keep texting them. He also has a YouTube channel where he invites
Interesting that she doesn't show the rest of the text thread where he does get a date with her. I wonder why she would do that.
triggered feminists to engage with him in very productive debates.
And you just said I was passive aggressive. You need to now tell me how you think I'm being passive aggressive.
Like, just in that statement, like, your whole attitude is very passive aggressive. Like,
Her tone alone makes her passive aggressive. Tell me how I'm being passive aggressive, huh?
you're not directly yelling at me or cursing at me, but it's very much, it's like a passive form of aggressiveness. I don't know how to put it plainly than that.
Even though it's just a trap for him to be able to call women crazy and passive aggressive in the thumbnails and get more clicks. So I'm going to be proactive and say I will not be participating in that. Thank you, even though it sounds very appealing.
I mean, I think there's a reason the whole chat is saying, why is this chick being so passive aggressive?
But I am a kind, gentle-hearted woman, and I want to make things easier for him. So we'll just skip that part, and I'll go straight to posing for his thumbnail.
What was that about a twinge of cringe she was talking about?
I'm going to call it there, guys. Thank you for subscribing. And
All right, so this is the kind of advice you're going to get if you listen to feminists. Don't approach, don't flirt, don't worry about getting better pictures, like changing things such as facial hair, your glasses, the way you look in your pictures. Don't worry about that. You've already got your male privilege. You've already got your male privilege. Just because you get no women at all by existing, you don't automatically get infinite options for sexual partnerships like women do. Well, whatever. Be a feminist and don't try to improve. You've got male privilege. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on what matters, okay? And my problem with YouTubers like this is that there's a degree of truth to what they're saying, just like with the red pill, there's a degree of truth to what they're saying. But we have to realize, to get closer to the actual truth, is that we are all biased towards our own experience, towards the things we identify with. So as a man, you're going to be biased towards things like the red pill. As a woman, you're going to be biased towards seeing women's issues, to what they struggle with. And it's going to be much harder to see the other side because we are stuck inside our own heads. We mainly think about ourselves and from our own perspective. And what feminists don't realize is that there are many good things that feminism has caused. I 100% agree with that. And some of it was entirely necessary. But they're also teaching men to be weak, to be weak-minded, to be victims, to not take action to improve their lives. The overall feminist movement, men should be emotional. Men being emotional doesn't work. Men can't afford to be overly emotional. That doesn't mean you shouldn't experience any emotions or you should pretend you're not depressed when someone dies, things like that. Of course, it's okay to have emotions. But as a man, the things you need to do to be successful in life are different than what a woman needs to do to be able to be successful in life. In some ways, there's many similarities too. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot they have in common. But feminism works for women in a very different way than it works for men. So if men learn not to approach women because that would always be a harassment, not to take charge in dating, not to improve their attractiveness, because women, from their own perspective, they could get away with all those things. They will still have men approaching them and asking them out, etc. So if men take that perspective, I need to be passive. I need to never be persistent. Persistence is always creepy. Doing that is going to lead men to be depressed and alone. And I think feminism has already greatly contributed to that because in our culture, since feminism, men in things like TV and movies are portrayed as either too aggressive, and it's always bad when they're too aggressive, or as weak. That's how men are since like King of Queens, since the 90s, since Friends. that was a great example. The show Friends had these men who didn't have any qualities that made them really any different from the women, right? They didn't go for what they wanted. They weren't assertive, things like that. So that cultural conditioning has led men to be depressed because they think that what they're supposed to do is the same things women are supposed to do to be successful, and that doesn't work. So that's why videos like this and creators like this, they do bother me, because she doesn't understand a man's experience just the way men don't really understand a woman's experience. But to get to the truth, you have to be able to see both sides of the coin. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. And if you want to learn how to, maybe be a little persistent to approach a woman in real life and maybe get a date with her. I know that would be anti-feminist. I know she wouldn't like that. Oh, she definitely wouldn't like when you approach her and to go on a date with you. That's never going to work. If you want to learn how to meet women in real life, how to have an abundant dating life in which you have many, many options, then I recommend clicking the link below to schedule a free call to talk about whether an in-person boot camp would be a good fit for you. And if you don't know, an in-person boot camp is where I take you out in person and show you how to approach women in a way that is persistent, that is assertive, that is confident, but that isn't creepy, that is still respectful, that balances those two things. And that's something that you can learn online, but the hardest part is facing all this anxiety, all this resistance, the idea, I might get rejected, what bad girls might laugh at me. There's all these thoughts that go through our minds because of feminism that teach us not to approach women. But once you have someone guide you through the process and show you it's really not that hard, and girls are flattered, at the very least, they're happy that you approached more often than not. And many of them will actually like you and go on a date with you, as long as you do a few things correctly. And that's what I can show you how to do in person. Click the link below to learn more about that program. Still can't see the video. Video going to look weird with all the jump cuts. Well, my videos always have jump cuts, so. And now we're going to do Todd V versus Sasha Day game. Coming up in a second. All right. Let's, nice calic. Do I look good? Okay. Let's get to this. There are dozens of pickup artists or dating coaches on YouTube that teach men how to attract women. The sad reality, more than 80% of these coaches are complete frauds that don't actually date or hook up with attractive women in their own lives. In this video series, what I do is I analyze and I compare the footage of two different pickup artists, dating coaches, whatever you want to call them, and show you which ones are legit and which ones are complete frauds. And in this video, we're going to be comparing Sasha Day Game and Todd V. Todd V, if you don't know, is one of the most popular dating coaches on YouTube. He's even had, PewDiePie react to him. PewDiePie has over 110 million subscribers, and Todd V has gotten the largest YouTube in the world to do a reaction video about him. So let's find out if this extremely popular dating coach is actually good at what he does, or if he's one of the many frauds out there.
Excuse me. Don't panic. I'm not crazy.
Don't panic. Well, I wasn't going to panic, but now you made me think maybe I should be thinking about the word panic.
Or anything. This man has got a massive amount of. See that? I saved your life just then.
Thank you.
That's not actually why I came over to save your life. I just saw you, and thought you looked fucking phenomenal.
Thank you.
And
All right, so the opener was very cringy, very bad. He does, however, have a certain manic confidence that is working in his favor. He's not reactive. He's just go, 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 go. And that is generally attractive,
I thought, if I'm not going to chat you up
if not possibly creepy.
now, it's probably never going to happen, to be honest. So,
Okay.
hi.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name?
Olivia.
Olivia. Hi, I'm Sasha.
Sasha is also hi.
I think it'll be funny.
Okay, forced, weird, long handshake. He's making himself unique, but is he unique in the way that someone who's very attractive and mysterious is unique? Like, is he masculine, or is he unique the way a clown is unique? We'll get back to this footage and see where it goes, but let's check out Todd V's first clip.
Hey. I'm sorry, you look absolutely compelling. I expect that. I expect someone as lovely as your first appearance suggests will have friends. You were good. I have no idea what you're doing. Apparently at this point I'm talking to you. We'll grab a drink in a little bit, but
Okay, I'm going to change clips because the audio quality is absolute garbo.
hey. Good
God.
Hey.
Good God.
I know. Hey, I'm sorry.
Same thing as Sasha. He's freaking them out with the initial approach. Why is he going from behind and touching them both? Who wants a stranger's hands on them from behind? I don't. Maybe someone with some weird fetish, but that is scary. You literally are scaring the girls with your approach. There might be some, I don't know, serial killer strategy that you can do with that, make them think that you have the qualities of a serial killer. I don't know, but not ideal.
I'm sorry. No, it's just me. It's just me, not Christ. Just me. I'm sorry. It's a little extreme. Hey, just talk. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
You are. And I wanted to tell you guys that you're absolutely adorable. I'm sorry that the means in which I got your attention was a little shocking.
At least he's calibrating to it. He's admitting that it was a little weird. He's owning up to it, and that helps smooth things over. But he could have just not done that in the first place.
No, I noticed that. It's okay. It's totally fine. But I just wanted, do you guys live here? Or are you? Okay, absolutely lovely. And I just wanted a couple seconds / maybe minutes to meet you and find out if you're as cool as your looks suggest.
He's saying just a couple seconds or minutes as a false time constraint. And that's actually useful because a lot of women, probably all women, occasionally there'll be some homeless guy or some strange, weird guy that talks to them and he won't go away. I'm sure you've been on a bus and someone started talking to you and you're like, how do I get out of this situation? This guy's lingering. He won't stop. So by saying, I'll be gone in a couple seconds to a couple minutes, you're showing that you're not a lingerer. And the reason you need to do that is because she's dealt with that many times in the past, and you want to show that you're not one of those guys.
Yes.
Where do you work?
Where do I work?
Uh,
I run a business here in town.
what do you run?
I'm a public speaker.
Uh-huh.
So I do like life and that or self-help speaking, and then I travel to other cities on the weekends and do it there.
Okay. Just making sure you were a host, promoter.
I was from no, I'm not upselling anything right now. I'm not trying to bring you to any. If I were to try and bring you to a club, it's because I'm there and I'd like to see you there myself personally, not because of me getting paid for your heads, so to speak.
That's good.
I know you guys probably get that a lot when you're out, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I feel like I know the.
You know exactly how that works. No. I the only.
This is good because they're reacting very well. They've hooked, if you will, right? They're they're laughing, they're smiling, their voices are going up at the end, like they sound excited. So that's all very good, and he's not doing too much. What guys who are not good with women do is they do too much. They need to constantly impress, constantly put on a show to make the girl think, oh, this is a cool guy. And they can't just chill and let the girl do the investing. Let the girl show you whether she's cool. They come from the perspective of she's not going to like me unless I show off how cool I am, Whereas really, you want to come from the perspective of a lot of girls like me. I want to find out, is this girl cool? Do I have chemistry with her? Or should I move on and find someone else? So he's doing a good job at that.
I think we just kept shaking hands for like 5-6 minutes and then talk.
Okay, alright.
We don't have to do that. So what are you up to? What's your story, Olivia? Other than being...
I don't live in London.
Oh. Well, we might as well just cut to the chase. Are you willing to come down just to have like an amazing affair, maybe once a month?
It's too expensive for me
Is
to
it?
come, yeah.
Let's just pretend I'm a lawyer and I earn $300K a year. Is that helping? I'm not actually. I like how you had your...
He really went from 0 to 100. Let's have an affair. That's going to be hard for her to relate to. And if it was already going very well, then you could get away with something like that. Then escalating it further and further might make sense. But he just went from she's a little uncomfortable, a little standoffish to let's have an affair. Not great.
No, that was a dirty joke. But how come you're in London now then?
To go and see a few modeling agencies and go to class.
Well, look at you. I'm a model. I'm so pretty. Man. Just so you know, that actually lowers you in my eyes a little bit. Yeah, it does. It does. Most models are itchy, yucky girls.
Yeah.
Don't say that to a model. If you tell a model that you don't like models, she's going to think, well, fuck this guy. When you make something your career and then someone downplays it and makes it sound like, oh, that's an easy job, you're not special, that's offensive. That's going to make you not respect that person. Now, you might think that. You might think it's an easy job that doesn't really add anything to society. You shouldn't say it because that's going to create a bad kind of friction. That's going to create a lack of rapport. It's like you're not in sync. You're on different wavelengths, and it gives her more reason to think, screw this guy.
Yeah, but you seem, fairly like a nice person. Yeah.
I don't do it full time, so I'm
Okay.
not swallowed into the world.
What are you doing on the,
I'm at university.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you studying?
English.
Ooh, you'd be a really hot English teacher.
Thanks.
If I had you as my, I wouldn't get anything done. I'd just be there like, and they'd be like, Sasha! I'd be like, what? Sorry? You're fucking terrible, so maybe just, ugly up a bit before you start teaching. Is that what you want to do? You want to?
No, I don't really.
What's your-
I think I'm gonna convert to law.
Better than converting to Christianity. That would be more awkward.
What do you do?
Chat girls on the street,
So,
that kind of thing. That's what you can sell.
Very weird answer. I chat up girls in the street. So I'm one of 50 girls you've talked to today. You do this. That's kind of weird. You sound like an outcast, not a cohesive member of society. It's not helping in any way to say something like that. You could say it if it was in a really exaggerated, funny way, then it might work. But he's just saying it as if it's actually true. He's not exaggerating it enough to make it seem like a joke. So again, he's just making himself seem strange and hard to relate to.
I'm only an amateur, but I do what I can. So you want to be a lawyer, really?
I don't know yet.
So you're one of those you're not sure.
I'm only 19, so.
You should just go travel for a year and figure it out.
I
Honestly.
wish I could, not allowed.
Why do you mean you're not allowed?
My parents are
What do you mean?
like,
You need to find yourself.
you won't go back into work.
No. Listen, the best thing, honestly, if you don't know what you want to do, don't just fucking do something to make your parents happy. Honestly, tell your parents to fuck off. Go around the world for a year, and when you'll know what you want to do then. You really want to spend all this time studying something, and then you'll be miserable in 5 years. You don't want that. Anyway, here's the important question.
So the best thing he has going for him is the manic, confident energy that he's projecting. But he's also very hard to relate to. He's kind of rushed. He's speaking in a higher tonality, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's not a very masculine, grounded tonality. And to be fair, another good thing that I noticed is he's making strong eye contact, and that goes a long way. But you really don't want to make yourself sound like a social pariah and a clown.
The only thing I have to offer is love, affection, and friendship. That's all I got. Sorry.
That's what you want.
Just the wholesome. What?
So that's what you want?
Wow.
That was hitting you. I was like, what the fuck?
Really? That would have been funny, actually.
I probably would. I was like,
That would've been-
really, that's like jealous.
That would have been okay, though, because that would be like a good story for my day. I'd be like, you know what?
Attack
It
this mom.
is what it is.
He could have said that would have been a good story for how we met. That would have been a little bit better.
That would have been chill, though. That's what it is. Yeah, but no, I'm curious about you.
Calgary more. I live in.
Oh, really?
She lives here.
So you're just visiting her. Fair enough. How long are you in town for?
Today. Till Monday.
Till Monday?
I forgot what today was.
Let's do. I work up. That's one of my cities. I do. New York's my most common. LA. Here, obviously, I live here, and then in London would be after that. Huh? Yeah, those are my friends. Yeah. What do you do? What are you guys doing tomorrow?
I don't know. We don't meet.
You. What are you guys doing tomorrow? What are you up to?
She knows.
Work tomorrow, not night, during the day. I'm busy tomorrow night. What are you guys doing during the day tomorrow? I would love to take you guys for brunch. Brunch.
What time is brunch?
Like 2 or 3. I don't get up before noon, personally.
We're done at 1:30.
At 1:30? So like, how long does it take? It depends what you're doing. Like, you're doing colors and everything, or so like 4 then.
Yeah,
4 o'clock, Weston. Let's do brunch. The 3 of us.
where would you like to go to brunch?
Weston.
Where?
I like that he's making very specific plans. One of the reasons guys get so many flakes is they say, hey, can I have your number? Why? Oh, to hang out. To hang out when? Tomorrow at 6 a.m. Well, that wouldn't be a good time. At a specific time and at a specific place. When you add all those things too, God damn it, another squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God damn it. When you make very specific plans with a girl, the chances of oh my god. Well, at least I'm burning some calories. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me make sure everything's still working, I guess, for a second. Okay. Sorry about that. Just trying to make the streams better in the future, basically, by getting rid of that habit of having to say things perfectly and re-saying sentences when I don't say them perfectly, you know? Where was I? When you make... That counts. Damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to set it up so I have room to do it on camera. Nice. Okay, so don't like my hair. All right. When you make very specific plans with a girl, the chances of her flaking are much lower. They've actually done studies. In psychology, this is known as something called commitment and consistency. And when you make specific plans like this, there is a 20% higher chance that the person will follow through. So this is a very easy technique to do, but it's also quite effective.
At the Weston? It's on. You're like, where is it? It's on Flamingo at roughly Koval, between Las Vegas and Koval on Flamingo. So it's pretty close. I live pretty close to her, so it's pretty close to. It's in between here and kind of where I'm at.
Is it a hotel?
The Weston?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hotel. It's in most cities it's a high-end hotel. In this city it's a shitty hotel because there's so many actually really really amazing hotels.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not bad. Remind me. I'm sorry. Because of all the shock and whatever.
You're good.
Todd. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You guys actually seem quite chill. Like you guys seem
Pretty chill. When people
chill
are
as
like
well.
trying to kill us.
I didn't try and kill you. How else was I supposed to get your attention? I just gave you like the world's lightest establishment. I was like, hi. It wasn't exactly. That wasn't exactly.
I wouldn't be defending what he did here because that is basically making things more difficult. They did not like what he did and saying, actually, it wasn't that bad. Actually, it was just a light touch. That's just going to make it worse. That's going to make it seem like you're not empathetic. You don't understand why that was weird. And he said, what could I have done differently? You could have just gone to their side and gone in front of them, given them some space, and then said hello from like at least 5 minutes, 5 feet away, so that it's much more relatable. And not so frightening.
Exactly like a ninja move.
Because that's very uncomfortable to be touched by a stranger from behind.
That's what I was like I didn't like break out like the stands and like throwing stars, huh?
Where'd you come
Heaven. I was just here shouting.
That's kind of a cringy line. I came from heaven. At least it makes it emotional. It was kind of too logical. So far, the girls were reacting very well, but he hadn't done anything necessarily to earn it. He made his intentions clear that he found them attractive, so that's good. But he wasn't doing anything witty or clever. The conversation wasn't super interesting. But it was becoming too logical. That was the problem. And now he's making it emotional, but he's doing it in a kind of ridiculous way. I'm from heaven. It's cheesy. There's no need to be cheesy.
How are my friends? Let's do this. It'll be.
The fact that they're both looking away from him and walking away, they're not locked in, they're not making strong eye contact, that is a very big sign that they're not genuinely interested in meeting him again.
Nice race. I do have to. Hey, I do have to go with my friend.
They literally just walked away from him. And that's partly because when they said, oh, you shouldn't have, made us think you were going to murder us, he defended himself. He instead of just saying, yeah, that was a little weird, and moving on, he had to say, well, I could have thrown ninja stars and I could have grabbed your shoulder. He did that wrong. That was not a good tact. And then what he did was say he's from heaven, which is just cheesy and weird. And they're like, all right, you're done.
That's pretty soon though, so I was like pissed at me. Let's all seriously go grab a friendly brunch, see if we enjoy each other's company, and if we do, that's great. If we don't, then we all had a decent meal.
Okay.
All right, sound good?
Sometimes persistence will get you far. Sometimes being persistent is the difference between success and failure. And one of the things you have to learn in game is how not to be too persistent to where you're making people uncomfortable, but not to miss opportunities because you're not persistent enough. And in this case, it looks like persistence paid off. I don't know if she's genuinely attracted because they walked away and dismissed him, but the persistence was the right move here.
I guess what's your number, but let's plan on 4 o'clock tomorrow. In case we need to change it up, we'll do that. Okay? Where do you work actually, by the way?
I work at
Okay, cool. I have to entertain clients a lot, so I have to take them out to clubs. What?
What kind of clients are you entertaining at the clubs?
My life coaching clients. Because I have a lot of people that have like social anxiety or like they have like fear of like communicating with people and stuff. So I don't work for the clubs. I don't make money bringing people there, but I have to take people out and make them like get out of like push their comfort zone or talk to people or like.
What dramatic change.
Can be.
That's your nightclub? That's kind of brutal.
Shock and awe.
I guess.
It's like how little birds learn to fly. You push them out of the nest, and if they don't fly, they land.
Yeah.
I don't think they land. I think they die.
All right. Do you remember my name, or was that lost in the shuffle as well? Perfect. Yep. All right.
You introduced yourself twice.
I know. I'm very proud of my name. I have to get it out there. Oh, my name right now. Let's plan on brunch tomorrow.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon. As well.
So it's unclear whether she was genuinely attracted to. God damn it! Got to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck. I'm not entirely sure whether she was being nice and entertaining him because she was in an awkward situation where if she tried to escape, it creates a scene, or she's just going to make things worse, right? If she says, hey, I don't want to talk to you. That's something you have to keep in mind, because if you're in a situation where other people are watching and it's in public, you want to make as little a fuss as possible. So if someone's talking to you and then you walk away and show that you weren't interested, and then he comes back and keeps trying to talk to you, it's hard to say whether her laughter and her seemingly positive response was to get rid of him, to make the situation less awkward, or whether she genuinely wanted to see him again and go on a date, because they seemed receptive earlier on. They seemed to like him at some point, but they also were wildly uncomfortable at the beginning, and then they proactively walked away later. So it could go either way. That's one of those situations where it's not clear, but there's a good chance the girls did not want to see him again. There's definitely a good chance. And there are some things you can take from this in terms of lessons, because confidence and just holding the frame will get you far. So even though he did mess up the initial approach, it was not good, but he didn't give up. They didn't say go away. They didn't say anything that was clearly a red light. And he was able to, at least to some degree, turn it around and get a number. Now, was that number a flake that would never go anywhere? There's a good chance it was. But being someone who goes for it will get you very far. So overall, that interaction was pretty average. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. But to compare it to Sasha Day game, he was less actively cringy, less clownish, kind of. I mean, his approach was actually worse, but after that, he was a little bit better. So I would say, if you, in comparison to Sasha, Todd V's approach was better.
Who's the lucky guy? Really?
What's your name?
You know, you got a man? Boyfriend, fiance, husband? Nothing?
I'm 19. I've never
Yeah.
had a fiance, not for all that.
Fair enough, but you know, you must have something the matter with you though if you're totally single. I mean,
Yeah,
you're just too hot to be single.
I think I'm just hard to impress.
Are you?
I'm
Wait,
just picky.
Have you seen my biceps? Do you wanna just have a little?
Thank you very much.
I'll start over. Hi, I'm Sasha. What's your name?
Clownish and weird.
Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. How are you? Let me guess. Studying English, thinking about going into law.
If you meet a girl who has a fetish for clowns, then approach exactly like Sasha, and you will get very far.
Part-time model. I know. Psychic. Runs with my family.
Cringe.
Well, how long are you in town for this time?
Cringe, 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 cringe. It's like the South Park. Dum 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 dum. That's what this is making me think of watching it. It is very uncomfortable. Luckily, I've already watched the entire series, The Office, so I'm pretty used to cringing. But this is about equally as bad, except it's real.
I don't know. I only found out from him yesterday.
Well, how about this? Next time you're in town, we'll meet up, have a cup of coffee or a drink, we'll chat. And obviously, if there's sexual chemistry, I'll seduce you. We'll go back to my place and we'll make love all night long.
Very presumptuous.
Only if we get along. Obviously, if we hate each other, won't even, it'll just be a cup of coffee and not be it. What do you reckon?
Maybe.
The way he pulled back there was definitely good. He wasn't doubling down. He sensed that she was a little bit uncomfortable with that idea of being seduced, and he pulled back and said, only if we get along. So that was actually calibrated. That was socially intelligent. Just everything else he's done was not.
Maybe. So that's a yes. You don't want to admit that you want to have sex with me because you feel like a dirty slapper. Fine, I understand that. All right, so let's do it the old-fashioned way.
She managed to go, no, that is not what that means. And she wasn't like, ha, 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 ha. No, that's not. No, that's not what that means.
I'll give you a missed call and then you'll know it's me.
I don't even know you though.
Sure. Just call me then, that's fine. I know all your womanly tricks.
The reason she's doing that trick is because she doesn't want to give you her number. It's just basic social intelligence. She does not want to give you her number. She does not want to see you again. And so she's making it easier rather than saying, please go away, I'm uncomfortable. What she's doing is making it easier by saying, well, why don't you give me your number? That way she can not text him, and then she doesn't have to deal with his presumably creepy texts.
Okay,
Are you on Pay As You Go?
no.
Okay. 0781. I'll whisper to you. Just in case,
0781.
just in case somebody's watching.
Cringe, 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 cringe.
Okay, now press talk, and then you can get to hear my ringtone. Okay. I need a nickname for you, though. Okay, got it. Cool. Let's see. I'm gonna call you Olivia, the nice model. How does that sound?
That sounds lovely.
Because no wait, I got it. Olivia, the non bitchy.
There's about a 5% chance, maybe even a little bit lower, that this interaction turned into a date. He did so many things that were actively weird. He made her uncomfortable for a number of different reasons. He didn't just have a normal conversation that was a little flirtatious. He had to do all of these theatrical, strange, hard to relate to things. But he did make his intentions clear. He was confident and he went for the close. So there's a chance that maybe she just likes eccentric guys. Maybe he's her type for whatever reason. Maybe that, or she could be horny. Maybe she just broke up with someone, whatever. There could be some situation that made her decide, yes, I will see him again. But everything he was doing in the interaction was lowering those chances rather than raising those chances. Todd V, on the other hand, his opener was worse than Sasha's. His opener was a 0 out of 10. It was like a negative 10 out of 10. It was awful. But he recovered pretty well. And then he was able to have a normal, relaxed conversation. He showed intent. He made it clear that he was flirting with them, but he didn't need to play all these games and put on the whole circus vaudeville. He didn't have to do all that until the girls kept bringing up the way that he had shocked them. And then he decided, I'm going to defend myself. No, it could have been worse. I could have brought out shurikens. That was not the right tactic. That was making him look unempathetic and kind of socially weird. And then he had to say, I'm from heaven. Don't say you're from heaven when a girl asks where you're from. It's just weird. It's cringe. Don't do that. And his persistence, it's kind of hard to tell because the angle, you can't see their facial expressions. You can't see the whole dynamic. So it's hard to tell whether they were uncomfortable and just put up with it because they didn't want to create a scene, or if they genuinely appreciated the persistence. It could go either way, to be honest. It could go either way. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. Generally, being persistent is a good thing, but when it's clear a girl is trying to get away from you, like if you approach her and she starts walking faster, that means you should give up. There are certain things that mean it's over. You don't need to keep being persistent. So if she says, I have a boyfriend, I'm not interested, just move on. And they walked away, that's usually a sign that you should just move on. So overall, Todd V's approach was a lot better, but it was still average. It wasn't particularly good. And I know a lot of people, I made a video about Todd V not that long ago, and a lot of people were saying, well, this is one of his worst clips. I chose a random video. This was completely random, never seen it before. It was also not very good. Now, to be fair, Todd V takes a lot of action. He always goes for the close. He's not very reactive. And those things will get you some level of success. That by itself will cause you to do better than 90% of guys out there. But he also does a lot of things that actively make women uncomfortable. And that's something that's very odd because he's been teaching this for years and he still has these weird habits and behaviors that are not doing him any favors. So Todd V wins, but only compared to someone who's really, 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 really awkward. So he wins, but not the best win. I'll put it that way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button. And let me know, who do you want me to make one of these videos about next? Who do you want to be featured in the next coach versus coach video? Is there anything else I want to say? I think that's good. Yeah, Todd, I mean, look, from the clip I reviewed, he was average. Well, I just think Denton really likes RSD, so he has a bit of a bias. That's, because Denton is way better than Todd V. Well, I haven't seen all of Todd's clips, but the ones I have seen it's basically what I've said. I've seen some of his longer polls, and he just actively creates too much friction. He's too gamey. He doesn't really vibe or create chemistry. So that's what he's missing. But he has a strong frame, not as strong as some other people, but definitely stronger than most. And he always goes for the pull. He doesn't give up easily. He's persistent. So he has other things that are good. And so with those things, I'm sure he still does better than most guys, but he just doesn't need to be cringe. Thank you. I try not to be a weird, gamey PUA because like someone who's really good with women doesn't stand out as acting clownish, I'll be right back. We got one more video. Be right back in about 2 minutes. Wow, we're at an hour and 10 minutes already. All right. Okay, review all RSD coaches. Copyright issues with that because they don't have infield on a public platform. It would probably be legal, but they'd probably still try to do things about it. Like Derek, well, I don't even want to say. There's one of them who sues anyone who talks about him negatively and gets their videos removed. So you can't even find a negative video about this person, even though he has a lot of haters. And that is, I mean, pretty scummy if you ask me. Yeah, bro. Been nonstop working and studying 50 hours a week, no game. Yeah, that's not good. It should be mostly game and a little bit of studying based on what happens in real life. That's what it should be. I don't know whether Todd's coaches are very good coaches or not. I just know Todd V himself doesn't seem to be that great. The Black Pill Asian. But as for the Los Angeles boot camp, I think that's full, but there's a San Diego one a little later that has a spot. I think there was one more topic I wanted to talk about today. The sad reality is that most men are struggling when it comes to attracting women, especially in the US and Western countries. Why is this? Because now it's easier than ever. It's never been easier to meet a girl. You've got Tinder, you've got Instagram, you've got more options than there ever were before. And yet the amount of men who are not having sex has never been higher than it is these last few years. And this is even before the COVID pandemic, so you can't blame it on that. It's because we live in a world that teaches us to be consumers more than ever before, to be passive. If you're horny, watch porn. If you feel like you need a social connection with a girl, try Tinder. Get some matches. Do something like message girls on Instagram. They may never meet you, but you can feel like you have a social life. Play World of Warcraft and chat people in there. Talk to people in the game. That is the world we're in. And this has created a situation where the majority of men are getting no dates whatsoever. And they're confused and frustrated by why that is. And because society is biased towards feminism, let's be real. I'm not going to mince my words. It is very biased towards women's issues. There are more. How many scholarships specifically for men are there in college? Almost zero, almost none. You know who gets into college less than women? men. 60% of college students are women, and yet there are scholarships specifically for women, even though they're majority and men are the minority. Society has a very clear bias, if you really try to look around, look at the facts, against men, not focusing on men's issues, ignoring the problems that men face. And this extends to everything, including dating. Men are struggling more than ever before in terms of dating. And there are three major reasons why. And once you understand what these reasons are, once you realize what the problem truly is, then you can start changing it. Then you can take the correct actions to get out of basically really what the pit, the hole that you're stuck in. Because for the average guy, they might get one date every 6 months, a year, just out of sheer luck, just because some girl hits on them. Probably not the most attractive girl, or maybe it's some girl on Tinder that matched them. And again, probably not the most attractive girl, but they finally got one and they just lock her down because that's all they could get. But in reality, you should be able, believe it or not, you should be able to get several dates per week. That's the situation for me. I've had many of my former clients tell me the stories of what happened after they worked with me, after they did my coaching programs. And many of them are getting at least 1, 2, 3 dates per week, even though they're completely average. It's not that they're the best looking or the most charismatic people in the world. It's not that they had some unfair advantage. It's that they know what I know. It's that they know that there are 3 reasons why men struggle in dating. And let's get right to it. Number 1 is that you are not doing anything that could get successful results. God damn it, more squats. Anytime I try to restate a sentence, I'm trying to break that habit. 5. I got to do 5 squats. Which is not ideal because I'm going to be walking probably like 10 miles on my coaching today. The number 1 reason is that you're unaware that you're not really trying. And what I mean by this is, yes, every guy downloads Tinder. Every guy uses the dating apps from time to time. But guess what? If you use selfies that you got with your iPhone, pictures of you with your boys that you took at some bar or whatever, those pictures probably suck. And Tinder is, of course, a visual platform. So when you're comparing to the top 5% of guys who get all the matches, and you have average pictures, you're not going to get any matches. Tinder, Bumble, these apps are all about 70 to 80% women. Keep that in mind. And most of the bot accounts, of which there are many, most of the bot accounts are female accounts. So many of the actual users aren't even real women. So the vast majority of users are women, and women are more selective. They swipe right less often than men do by like 5 times, significantly less. And so when you add those 2 things together, what does that mean? The average profile gets nothing. 1 match a week, if that. My old profile got about 1 match per week. My current profile will often, God damn it, got to do it again. At least you get to watch me suffer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. My current profile gets as many as 10 matches per day. So it's a night and day difference. And it's because I got a bunch of pictures, had them rated by women, and then finally found some that were rated as very attractive. They were rated as high as a 9.6 out of 10, when before my pictures were rated a 5 and even lower out of 10. So guys will download Tinder, think, oh, I guess I'm not good looking. I don't get any matches. And then they give up. Then they think, well, porn is good enough. But there's another thing they don't try, which is going out and approaching women. If you were to... Damn it. 5 more fucking squats. I'm gonna be shredded by the end of this. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you were to literally just approach 50 women per week and ask anyone who didn't tell you to go away or tell you that they have a boyfriend, ask those ones for their number. Unless you were an extreme outlier, you looked like Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Unless you were extremely physically unattractive, the bottom 0.1%, and just very negative energy, right? Very anti-charismatic, you would get at least one date per week out of that. And that's at least, probably a lot more. But you don't do that. And that's the real problem, is not realizing that you're not trying, not accepting that you could be taking actions that would get you success, but they would make you uncomfortable at first. They would be difficult at first. The average guy, even guys who watch pickup, very rarely approach women. And I want you to understand that if you're not approaching at least 50 women per week, you're not really trying. And that is the reason you're not succeeding. If you do that, you will succeed. Now you can say, I don't want to put in that much effort. But I want you to admit that that is the reason you're not succeeding. I'm not willing to put in that much effort. If I did try, if I did ask a bunch of women out, maybe I would succeed. And when you start from that premise, your excuses stop having so much power over you. You stop having this negative, self-denigrating, self-damaging mindset. Oh, I'm not tall enough. Oh, I'm not good looking enough. Oh, I'm not rich enough. I'm not fit enough. The baseline is, are you able to approach 50 women per week and ask the ones who don't say fuck off? Are you able to ask those ones out? And if you do that, and you still don't have success, then worry about everything else. This is the equivalent. This is similar to being someone who they don't go to the gym. They're out of shape. And then they decide, all right, I'm going to hit the gym. They do a few curls. They do some 5-pound curls. They do this, let's say, once a week for a few weeks. And then they see, I'm not in shape. Well, I guess I have bad genetics. I guess it's not for me. I just couldn't succeed. You never really tried. So of course you're not succeeding. Now, if you go to the gym for an hour a day, 4 times per week, you follow a specific regimen, you make sure you're eating the right amount of calories, you do all those things and you still don't make any progress over a month, now you have reason to be concerned. But that won't happen. That never does happen. And the same is true with pickup. Maybe all these other things are holding you back, but women very, very rarely approach men. I've had clients who literally look like male models, and I'll ask them, how often do girls approach you when you go to a club? And they'll say maybe one fat chick per night, if that. Women rarely approach men. Women rarely will make the first move. This is societal norms that have been around for decades, for all time, really. And they're changing slowly, but still the vast majority of women are not going to make the first move or approach a guy. So just existing isn't going to get you any results. And the reason you're not getting results is you're not trying. And you have to admit you're not trying. If you're going to go the Tinder route, do it right. Get a bunch of pictures taken, get professional pictures taken, learn how to make a good profile, learn the correct angles, lighting, all these things, how to have the right facial expression in your pictures, and then get those pictures rated and find some that are actually good. And once you've done that, and if you still get no results, then you can think, oh, maybe I'm just not good looking enough for Tinder. But not until you actually have good pictures. Not until you have pictures that are genuinely the best you could get, right? Other people should be able to look at them and say, wow, that's a really good picture of you. Maybe it's not the best picture ever, but compared to what you look like, that picture is very flattering. And if that's not what you have, then you haven't tried. And the same thing goes for online dating. Or, whoops. The same thing is true for real life. In real life, women aren't going to approach you. They're not going to make a move on you. You think, oh, I can't get women because I'm not good looking enough. Once you've approached 50 women in 1 week, you ask them all on dates. If you're still completely failing and you get no results from that, then you have reason to be concerned. Now, there's still other things. Are you doing something that's really awkward? Are you approaching them from behind and like touching them before they recognize you? are you talking in a way that's like really quiet? There are other things you might be doing wrong that are lowering your chances. But if you take and got to do the 5 fucking squats again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn it. So if you, where was I? If you do 50 approaches per week for a month, you will have more success in that month than you've had for the last several years. I can practically guarantee that. And the only exception would be someone who's in the bottom 0.1%, someone with something like, like cerebral palsy. If you have some major defects that just completely, if you have major birth defects like cerebral palsy, something along those lines, and you're just the worst looking person that you've seen in the last month, then you might still struggle. But anyone else is going to have success if they approach 50 women per week. And the only reason you're not doing that is because it's uncomfortable. And if you want to say, you know what, it would be uncomfortable, I'm not willing to do it, I'd rather just be alone. Fine. But don't tell yourself, don't lie to yourself, don't be a little bitch. Be honest with yourself and admit, I'm just not willing to put in the effort. I'm a lazy piece of shit. And, you know, maybe my genes don't deserve to be passed on because I'm not willing to put in some effort and deal with some social anxiety and some nerves. Oh, I have the condition of social anxiety, so I can't do it. I was diagnosed with social anxiety and panic disorder. I had worse anxiety than you, I guarantee it. I've literally called ambulances because I thought I was dying when I got uncomfortable in a social situation, and yet I still powered through that. Yes, anxiety makes it harder. Does that mean it's impossible? No, there's nothing that makes it impossible. It's just emotionally challenging. We've become a very soft generation. And the funny thing is, that is the reason we don't do it. And then we feel like a loser. Then we feel undesirable. Then we start getting attracted to things like the black pill or things that say it's not your fault and you're just not good looking enough. But you've never genuinely experimented and tried approaching a bunch of women and asking them out. You've never done that. And until you have, I want you to be honest with yourself, to be intelligent and to think critically enough to realize that if you haven't done that, you haven't genuinely tried. And it's okay if you don't want to do that, but don't blame any of these other factors until you've done that. That is the starting point to changing your dating life, is admitting that you haven't really tried. You don't know the truth. You don't know what's possible until you've gone out and experienced it for yourself. You can watch black pill videos of people who've never approached women, or very rarely, maybe a few times, of guys who are saying it's impossible based on reading things from other people saying it's impossible who haven't really tried it. You can put yourself in an echo chamber like that if you want. You can make yourself a victim. But if you can admit, you know what, it would be hard to approach a lot of women, but if I just did that, maybe my dating life would change. That's the starting point. That is the real reason that your dating life sucks. That is the truth. And it's a hard pill to swallow because it means it's your fault. You have to admit that it's your fault. It's no one else's fault. It's not society. It's not women. It's you. It's you deciding that you'd rather play video games, eat fast food, watch a bunch of Netflix. You'd rather be in a catatonic state than challenge yourself and actually socialize, actually meet women. That is the reason that you're struggling. And it is entirely your fault. But once you can admit that, once you can own up to that, then you are free to change. But until you start from that premise that I don't know, maybe it wouldn't work, but I don't know that because I haven't tried. Until you have the level of self-awareness and are able to go against the herd of what you've read and what you've watched and actually find the truth for yourself, until you're able to do that, you're not going to get anywhere. And you will be herded in the direction of some black pill guy, some red pill guy, could be some pickup artist, whatever, because you're being herded since your view of reality doesn't come from experience. It purely comes from what other people are telling you. And it should be both. Both need to be combined to get to the truth. So that is the real reason your dating life sucks. And I know you're not going to like hearing that, and you're going to want to disagree with me, but really think about the logic. Get past your emotions and think, how do I know that I couldn't succeed with women if I haven't approached a lot of women and asked them out to find out what would happen? How is it possible that I know that? Oh, maybe I don't. Well, but are your Tinder pictures the best possible? Go show your Tinder pictures to your friend and say, is this an amazing picture of me that makes me look as flattering as possible? They're going to say no. They're going to say, it's okay, at best. So that's the message I want to leave with you today. And in the rest of this series, I'll talk about how to move from that position to getting real results, to being someone who does approach women and who does have success. I'm not expecting you to go from never having approached a girl or to barely being able to do it to talking to 50 girls this week and asking them all on dates. That would be a lot to ask. That would be extremely difficult. If you did, you would succeed. And in a technical sense, there's nothing preventing you from doing that other than emotions. But obviously, emotions have a lot of sway over us. So, yes, I'm not expecting you to talk to 50 girls this week and ask them all out. But that's something you can build towards. And once you're able to do that, and let's say you do it for a month, then you can evaluate based on what happens where you really stand with women, what your capabilities really are. Then you have something to go off other than what you've read, what you've heard from others, which is not a good source of information. Now, if you want to make this process easier, if you want a way to jumpstart things so that it's not extremely stressful and overwhelming, where you're just like, how do I get over my resistance to approach? I mean, you see hot girls all the time. You probably rarely, if ever, approach them, right? That's what happens to all of us. That becomes our habit, and it is hard to break out of that habit. The easiest way to do so is to have a coach guide you through the process, to have someone take you through the steps and to show you the ropes in person, someone to push you out of your comfort zone. Did I say that? I got to go back to the fucking squats. Yes, it is very easy to cope with porn, OnlyFans, and IG models. And those are all funnel, right? IG leads to OnlyFans. OnlyFans leads to porn. I think social media is largely to blame as well. On a grand scheme of things, it's because of social media, but as an individual, it's your own fault. That's how I think the best way to see it is. Because, it's social media's fault. I couldn't succeed. Yes, you could. Stop using social media, right? Like, you don't have to consume social media. No one's forcing you. You're making that decision as an individual. My hair is getting more and more fucked up as the video goes on. Is that better? Whatever. Nothing I can do about that. So the easiest and fastest way to get to a point where you are able to approach 50 women in a week is to take a boot camp, to get in-person coaching, because you're going to have external leverage. You're going to have someone pushing you to take action. And that will be massively helpful in the process of overcoming your resistance, overcoming your doubts, anxieties, all those kinds of things. You have someone else guiding you through the process and someone else showing you that it's normal. If I tell you to approach a girl and you're like, no, I can't do it, then I'll go do it, get a good reaction, get her number, and you see that it's not a big deal. You're around someone who's approaching women, getting dates, getting success all the time. You're seeing the way they act. You're seeing how normal it is. You're seeing that it's not a big deal. It's not this huge deal to approach a girl. And then it will start to feel normal to you, because normally what you're surrounded by is a bunch of people who think it's weird and it's hard to talk to girls and they're just going to reject you. And why even try? But when you're around me, you see a different side of things. You see the reality that it's not a big deal and that girls like being approached as long as you do it in the way that I teach you how to do it. So if you have been struggling with your dating life and you want the fastest solution possible, then click the link below to schedule a free call to talk about whether a boot camp is right for you. But even if you don't do that, even if you think, I'm going to handle this myself, that's too weird, I don't believe in coaching, whatever. even if that's the case, you still should admit, I still want you to really think, goddamn, 5 more squats because I kept re-saying that. This will pay off in the long term, I hope. 3, 4, 5. It's at least like 50 squats I've done. I'm glad it wasn't push-ups, then I'd be a lot more tired. So once you're, make sure it's not my call. 2 minutes, okay. Once you do that, I want you to admit that you don't know the truth about this. You don't know that it would be impossible for you to succeed with women. It is your fault. You have to take responsibility and admit, I haven't really been trying. I have not genuinely been trying. Yes, there's a part of me that wants intimacy. There's a part of me that wants sex. The connection that I could have with women is something I desire, but I have not genuinely taken action to get it. I've focused on other things, and I just don't want to do it because it's too challenging, too emotionally difficult, and I'd rather just, cope watching Netflix, playing video games, etc. That's fine, but I want you to admit that to yourself and then make a decision from that point instead of from the point of deciding you already know that it's impossible. Because then you're closing the door on yourself. You're making things impossible. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. And if there are any topics that you want me to cover, let me know. All right, let's see. Being autistic. Yeah, I had a client diagnosed with autism who pulled on the first day, even though he hadn't in like 6 months before that. And he actually did 2 separate boot camps, and he pulled twice. No, he pulled 3 times, closed twice on the second one. So let's see. I'm just reading through the comments before I wrap up. Show my friend. Yeah, tell this friend of yours to record the audio of some of his approaches. The only reason he would be afraid to do that or unwilling to do that is if he didn't think his game was actually that good. If it was a narcissistic belief and not a true belief, right? If it was a shield he was using to protect his ego. I have the best game in the world. It's not my fault. Then he wouldn't be willing to share some audio. But it's very easy to get the audio of the approaches, and I can break them down. Yeah, it's a great quote. All right. With that, I've got some coaching calls lined up. But it's good talking to you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow.